Hello, everybody. Welcome back to not another Isekai show all about this season's anime. Talk about what we're watching, not what we're not watching, and how many are Isekai. Probably too many. Happens every season. Not actually too many Isekai we're talking about on this show, though. Only one or two, I think. Anyway, I'm Tyler, and yeah, we're gonna talk about some more anime this week. We're getting really close. We haven't finished any shows this um, this week, but next week I think there's like three of these shows are gonna be last episode, and then after that, the following week is pretty much the end to all the seasonal shows. Now there are a few that are two cores that are sticking with us for another whole season. Um, but yeah, most of them are gonna be done, and then we're gonna get into next season. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be our first season change on this show, so that's exciting. I did actually go through yesterday and was looking at some of the shows that are coming out next season. Man, there's a lot of good ones. There's obviously a lot of sequels that I think are really easy to get excited about. But then there are some, new ones, new shows that I think are pretty cool. So I think again, well, I've said this last episode, say it every episode from here on out. Make sure to check out next season shows and let me know what is worth watching. What everyone's getting excited for, because there there's a lot. Next season could be another banger season, the way I think this one is. So, yeah, let's get right into it. I clicked the wrong button. Um, Spy Family season 2, episode 11. This is the second to last episode. There's 13. Yeah, this episode was cool. This was the continuation of last one where we had the tennis tournament. Was very excited to watch that. And yeah, so basically the whole episode is just it's just Lloyd and Fiona just going nuts, just going crazy. They they did not lose. They refused to lose the tennis, and it just goes to show how rigorous, I guess, the training is to be a spy in their their little whatever. I mean, they are two of the top ones, so maybe not every spy in their organization is at that level, but they're like superhuman. And don't even get me started on your your we'll talk about at the end. But Jesus. So yeah, they're killing it. Like the floor tiles, that's not doing anything. They're rolling with the punches. They got they're moving the net up and down. They're adapting to that. The crazy like gusts of wind around the net. They're just using that to their advantage and doing these crazy trick shots. They very briefly made the ball like emit some like putrid spray, which is stupid, because it's like, I mean, unless you guys have like stuff in your nose to block the smell, that's gonna affect you too, so, but weird. And then they go all out, and there's a sniper in the vents who is shooting rubber, thank God it's not real bullets. I guess that would be pretty obvious. But rubber bullets, and they're just eating those too. We don't care. And then they're dodging them, and then people on the sidelines have their little like Spider-Man web shooter type things happening. They're going nuts, right? And I like their excuse where they're like, oh, a little hungover, and so now everyone thinks that they are clowning these siblings while sort of drunk. What would these monsters look like if they were sober? Or maybe it's like, like the whole like drunken fist type thing where they elevate to a new level when they just have a little bit to drink. Could be. So that's really funny. And then they win, of course, right? They kill it. And I just love that. I just love the whole match because it's like, again, it goes to show their skills, and we don't see that too often. They show the um the whole like entry point into the show is obviously Lloyd being like the best spy ever, so we know he has skills, but I do like when the show does sort of trail off a little bit, which it's funny to say trail off because you think that that's like plot A is him being a spy, But it does trail off, and it's like, oh no, we're just gonna follow Lloyd for like a couple episodes on a mission he's doing, and then we just get to see how crazy this man is. And I like that because it is Spy Family, family but also spy. Um, and then so after that, we have a nice little ending where Lloyd actually reforms the brother, and the brother's like, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do it for you, which is nice. Not something you would have thought, especially like other people, in a different situation, other people in his position probably would have just took the opportunity to dunk on him and just be like, oh, you're trash, whatever. But no, he's like, hey, do better, man. You're good. You got skills. Actually hone in on your skills and stop cheating. And you might actually be, you might should be like a pro player. Um, Let me go further to the prize winning, and Campbell refuses to give them Lady in the Sun. We're presuming here that they were tipped off, because Lloyd kind of saw him getting spoken to with the whisper in the ear. It's interesting because I don't actually remember exactly what is on the Lady in the Sun. I know it's like some secret code thing, possibly some like locations to something. But yeah, so he got tipped off, can't give it to him. And the whole time we're like, okay, but they're they're gonna get it somehow, right? Like, this is Lloyd, Fiona. We're talking about Twilight and Nightfall. There's no way they're just like, all right, well, we did everything we could. Like, no, they switched it out. He was masking with the thing, Mission Impossible style, and got the Lady in the Sun. So that's cool. I don't know how much we're gonna see more of that. If that's just like a little side mission in a video game, where they kind of got that and they're giving it to their squad, the director, and they'll take it from there, or if we'll see that continue, see where that lies, moving forward. Are they gonna, again, I'm pretty sure it's like locations that was like secretly messaged on there, but I don't quite remember. Um, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to kind of follow them again at some point. There's only a couple episodes left, so I imagine probably not this season that'll come back around if it does. But yeah. And then we have Fiona finally challenging Yor to not really a match, I guess, but kind of sort of, because she's on her whole time, her whole energy, she's trying to get Lloyd, and she believes that Yor is not good enough for him, all that stuff, and it's great because I saw like a meme online, where you see memes, not in real life, they're not on billboards, and I mean, I don't know, it wasn't really a meme, but it was just like someone talking and was like, Yor really, I forget what it was. It was something like Yor has like Dragon Ball Z levels of like power, and no one talks about it, like, which at the time I saw that before I saw this episode, and I was like, yeah, but I feel like she hides it, because like the only times we've ever seen it, like she was kind of going crazy against some bad guys, when like those guys kidnapped Anya or were going after her. But even in that sense, it's like the only people that saw her were the people that she was destroying, and Anya. And it's like Anya's not going to say anything because then that'll, because she's scared that anything she says might give away that she has telepathic powers. So she's not going to say anything. And then it's like, remember the one a couple episodes ago where she like kicked up the flower pot? It's like, okay, that no one really saw that. There was even the time where she was fighting Lloyd, and even that, I don't think Lloyd really saw that as like, oh, she's super skilled. I think it was just like, she's drunk and she's kind of going crazy, she's kind of losing it a little bit. She's not all the way there. So, again, I don't really think Lloyd was assessing that properly. So again, it wasn't until this episode where it's like, someone has to say something. Like, because the whole thing was she hit the ball. We thought she missed it. We thought she was uncoordinated, clumsy, all that stuff. Turns out her racket went through the ball, and the ball, like I don't know, like You know, it was like those like Play-Doh things where you put the Play-Doh and you squeeze it and it like comes out with all the shapes. That's what happened. She's like, oh, not another one. It cuts back to Fiona and she's like, wait, hold on. Everyone just calm down. Did did she just destroy the ball with the sheer force? And then in that moment, she's starting to recalculate some things, you know. And then Yor turns it down so she can actually make contact with the ball and push it through space, and it goes at faster than the what was it? Faster than the speed of sound, and just destroys Fiona's racket. She admits defeat. She wants revenge at some point, but another interesting tidbit in that scene is Lloyd knew about this, because Lloyd, after that happened, Lloyd was like, "I told you." I mean, he didn't say he was thinking it, but he was just like, "I told you, you should have went against her." And I'm like, "Wait, so you knew? You know how powerful Yor is? Like, you don't like you're a spy. You don't like look into that." It's like, why can she do that? You know what I mean? Why is she this strong? Like you went through her background, and she's just a regular person. Like there's no history of like athleticism or anything like that in school or in a job. I don't know. I feel like I would be talking to my director and be like, "Hey, I've done everything I could, but there's something about my wife." But whatever. And then at the very end, Yor seems very disappointed. Because she has been feeling very insecure lately, especially comparing herself to Fiona, and generally she never really thinks that she's good enough for Lloyd or for Anya. And so I think there she was just really looking for some direct, I want to say affection, because Lloyd did congratulate her and that wasn't good enough. So I feel like she really wanted him to be like, "You're my wife," like you did good. I want you to be, you know what I mean? Like really accepting her in that role directly and, blatantly, rather than just being like, "Oh yeah, good job, you won," like, so, and at the very, very end, cut back to her, she still seems kind of out of it. So, we have 2 episodes left. I would hope that within the next 2 episodes, Yor does get what she wants there, and again, I don't think she's being unreasonable for wanting what she wants. Um, she's allowed to, she is, again, she's not part of the ruse. I mean, she sort of is, they kind of agreed to have like a fake marriage, but even so, like, Lloyd is different, right? Because Lloyd is concocting this, because he's a spy and he has a mission and he needs a wife and a kid for the mission. Yor, on the other hand, is just kind of having this like fake marriage so that she doesn't get caught up in the secret police stuff, but she still wants to be accepted by her fake family, because she is starting to love them. She wants to do everything she can for them, because if she was just in it for the optics, then she'd be like, whatever, like she'd just do just enough so that Lloyd and Anya don't look for someone else, so God. So yeah, 2 episodes left. Excited to see it. I don't remember what happens after this. There is another big piece of the manga that I remember, but I don't think it happens. I mean, maybe it does, but I don't think it happens right after this. So I don't think we're gonna see it. So I really don't know what we're gonna see in the next 2 episodes. This kind of felt like an end. The whole like tennis thing. So, but there's 2 episodes left. So I feel like end of a season they have to end on something big and not just 2 regular Spy Family episodes. So yeah. Next, My Hero Academia Season 6, Episode 12. Not too much to say about this one. My Hero's still great. This is one of the 2 core shows, so I think there's 25 episodes in this one. So, we're still gonna see a bunch of this. We're not even halfway through this whole run here. So, but while there isn't too much to say in this episode, I do think there's some very important things to say, even if there's just a few. The biggest one I feel like is Lemillion, um, just coming in the clutch, just going crazy. Um, it was super unexpected, right? Because it was just crazy to me because I remember seeing him on screen, like when I was watching this episode and being like, wait, hold on. Wasn't he the one that got his power taken, right? Like he was like the one that got hit with the drug, like quirk killing drug. And it was like super emotional because of who Lemillion is, because of how positive and how upbeat and how like he wants to help everyone. He's super cool, but like, he also wants to be the best. Like he is like one of the greatest, purest examples of someone who wants to be a hero. Like there's nothing really masking it. It's different, and this isn't a shot, but it's different than someone like Bakugo, who, like, now that we've learned about Bakugo, 6 seasons, we know that he looks up to All Might probably as much as Midoriya does. It's only, because of Midoriya's personality, he wears it on his sleeve a little more, but Bakugo wants to be the best hero. Not only to say he's the best, because he truly wants to help people. Like he wants to help. Honestly, he probably wants to help people more than most of his peers. And that's not downing his peers. That's just who Bakugo is, and we've learned that over 6 seasons of like peeling back his character. But it's taken some time for us to get there. With Lemillion, it's like right out the gate, you know who he is, and he's awesome. And so when we had that moment with him losing his quirk, it's like he was the best of us. Why did he have to be the one to lose his quirk? And he also worked so hard because, back when there was the whole training stuff, he was one of them, and he was a big advocate for control, right? Like you have to control to use your power or your quirk, because that's just how you get better, to put it in, basically, and like, he is a big advocate for it because his whole thing is, he can like phase through stuff, right? But that was a super tough quirk to learn how to use, because like if you mess it up, like, could you imagine like falling through like earth, and being like 3 feet in the ground, and then you materialize, and now it's like, oh no, what do I, what do I do? Because like also for him to come back up, he has to learn how to, make his whole body phasable except for like the bottoms of his feet, so that he can actually like push against stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's so much like control and precision that's necessary for his quirk. So, he was a big advocate for like, you have to learn how to control it. You have to really learn what your quirk is, because, you're just trying to get like more powerful. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't like, there's no focus there. So anyway, all that is to say, like, he was the best of us. And for him to lose his quirk, like, that was the worst. That was the worst. And for him to come out of nowhere this time and not only be like, hey, I'm back, but also him coming in and helping save, Best Jeanist, because Best Jeanist was here. He came in the clutch, but he was kind of struggling a little bit because I don't know, he just couldn't do it all himself, which is totally okay that he can't win everything by himself. But like Lemillion to come in and be like, ooh, I'm back phasing through, kicking no moves across the place, like, and everyone's just like, Lemillion. And we see this great backstory where Eri, almost forgot about Eri, she used her rewind quirk to give Lemillion his quirk back, because because I'm pretty sure that was the thing, right? Like Lemillion lost his quirk saving Eri, and so Eri always, I remember the scene where, Eri felt super bad, like she was torn up about it because she thought she was to blame for it, and that's not fair. You know what I mean, to say that. But of course, especially her, she's a child, like a child. So of course she feels that way. And so, she even said like, because Lemillion was like, hey, I'm sorry for making you do this. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. He was trying to be like super, uh, trying to be like super respectful. And Eri was like, hey, don't feel sorry. Like, I've been training my quirk for this purpose. Like, she's been working on like lizards and stuff to like, we saw a scene of, because lizards, not all lizards, but I know like some lizards, if their tail breaks, they can grow a new one, right? And so we saw a scene of tail breaking off, and then her using her quirk to like rewind time and give him the tail back instantly. And so, I was like, no, I've been training, like I've been doing this to try to give you your quirk back to rewind time and do that. It's just like, oh, it just hits you right in the heart, you know. Um, and so yeah, it's great. We have Lemillion again. I can't wait because not only do I love his character from what the little we've seen of him, but also his quirk is so cool. Like to just phase through stuff, and for him to also be like a good fighter, like hand to hand combat and stuff. Like those two things marry so well together. Yeah. And then the only other note I have is that at the very end, the sleep drug finally brought Makia down. It seemed like it must have been because he was so big, like just in stature, that like the drug took a while to run its course through his system, through his veins or whatever. But it finally took him down. So that was again, these last few episodes. I mean, really the whole season, because the whole season has basically been this one long fight, this one long battle that just doesn't end. Um, they've been going back and forth. Like the heroes seem to have the upper hand, and then the villains pull something out, gives them the upper hand, and then the heroes have a ace in the hole, and then the villains have an ace in the hole. So it just keeps going back and forth, and I think that the heroes have been kind of piling on so far. We got Best Jeanist here. We thought he was gone. Well, I mean, I guess before that we have the crazy blow that Nabi, was that his name? Nabi, who says his name is Toya. Apparently Endeavor's long lost kid. He was there. That was a huge blow to just morale to everyone. Of just like, whoa, you know. But then we have Best Genius coming out of nowhere. We thought he was missing. He's here. Um, they were trying to like, the villains were trying to push this narrative that the heroes killed him or something. um, so Best Genius is here helping out, and then Lemillion coming out of nowhere. So we have another thing, and then and now we have Makia down, which is like a huge blow to them. So I don't know. Now I'm looking at it and I'm like, not looking good for the villains. I don't know what the villains. I mean, because we have Shigaraki, who is on his last leg. He is out. So it's like I don't really know. Like I don't really know what they're gonna do. I mean, Best Genius and Lemillion are coming in fresh, spry. I don't know. But again, the villains could pull something out. I don't. We'll see though. Yeah. So that was that. Um, good episode. Good episode. I'm still in My Hero. I'm saying it every week. My Hero came back for me. I was really shrugging off My Hero last season, but season six is dope. So let's see what happens in the next episode. I don't know. I assume the villains have to have an answer, but I don't know what the answer is going to be. So now we have Mob Psycho 100 season 3 episode 11. Again, not too much to talk about this episode. I feel like it was just kind of people throwing their bodies at Mob. But I do have a few notes here. So in the beginning, we have a large section of the episode where those two psychics, don't remember their names, but those two psychics were trying to go against Mob, trying to stop him. Couldn't do anything, right? Because Mob is just that OP character. He can't lose really. But they were two psychics that have relationships with Mob in some form or fashion. So that is kind of what this whole run has been. Is people close to Mob, his loved ones, friends, family, whatever, are each trying to kind of going at him like one at a time, trying to get through to him, and no one is succeeding so far. Um, the closest one we seem to have is Ritsu, his brother. Is kind of going against him, kind of having similar success as everyone else. But it does seem like he ramps up, and it might be because of his relationship with him, because there's a brother, it's not just a friend. Like there's a different dynamic there, obviously. A big key moment there is he sort of almost destroys the flowers, which we remember the one blonde hair character, I don't remember his name, but that was kind of a thing that he was trying to do, try to snap Mob out of it. But Ritsu sort of does, like he sort of has like a glancing blow at the flowers. Unfortunately, Mob did not like that, and Mob reformed the flowers and just tossed Ritsu across the land. um, and that was bad. That was bad. I also didn't write down, but the Body Improvement Club tried as well, but no success, right? So again, it's just kind of people coming at him one after another, and again, not necessarily trying to physically tackle him, because I think most people know that we can't physically overpower Mob. Especially people close to him, right? Like they know, but they're trying to get through to him, and they can't. Then we have the end where we see that we already kind of had an introduction to like two mobs. We saw Mob himself inside of the body, losing control. But now we have the end where both mobs are trying to get rid of the other one, right? Neither of them think they're in the wrong. We're obviously siding with the human Mob, not the power embodiment, psychic, out of control version of him. But they're both trying to get rid of him, right? And our Mob has the sensible reasons, which is, hey, you're hurting people. Like, even if you're trying to do things for my benefit in your own way, hurting other people should not be the road to this destination. It shouldn't be. But the other one is like, no, there's certain things, that you have not done that I feel like you deserve, and I'm trying to get them for you. And it's like, nah, man, like, I'm chilling, like what, like today was about to be a great day, you know, I got hit by a car, but you going nuts isn't gonna do anything. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go over to Subami, I think is her name. Like this, she's gonna run away. What? That's not gonna work. So, but yeah, that is kind of where the episode ends. Is them kind of standing off against each other, and them both having their own ideals. And next episode's last episode of the season, I believe. 12 episodes. So that'll be the end. That'll probably be a little internal square off for most of the episode, I imagine. And I would trust in our Mob and the actual Mob to win. But we'll see. Like I said, they could have some crazy ending to the season with us being like, season 4 is going to be wild. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. Good episode. Excited to see how it ends. At this point, that's kind of what I'm saying with all the shows, that aren't two cores, because they're ending either next episode or the episode after. So they're all kind of wrapping up. Yeah, good stuff there. Next, we got Blue Lock, episode 11. Fantastic. This is the ending to the game, and then the transition to kind of the next portion of this story. So we have Isagi getting everyone involved as he does. He is kind of the general of everything. I think that makes the most sense, giving his weapon, being able to almost see in the future, being able to smell a goal, makes sense. So he's popping off, and at that point we're like, wash our hands with it, done deal, he's gonna win. And then Nagi coming out of nowhere, basically taking away his goal, or so he thought, right? And again, that just goes to show different power levels, different skill levels, where it's like one player can just erase an entire game plan, just go out the window. And that is Nagi, and I can't wait to see more of him too, because he's crazy. But Isagi sort of finally unlocked the final piece, where he realized that he just has to do it, to put it, to kind of distill it down, because he used his direct shot, because he was like, oh, if I go if I do this, he's gonna stop. If I do that, he's gonna stop. If I pass it, it's not gonna work. Like all this stuff, and he's just like, I just have to shoot. You know, I just have to shoot the ball. That's really all it is. And it worked. You know, he scored, and again, he's just realizing that, I don't know. I guess it's almost like overthinking it. Like he doesn't have to overthink everything. You know, like getting to the point is great, but then once you got it, you got it. Just score. Just shoot the ball. You know, you're getting in your own head. You're overthinking it. You're at the last second. You're trying to change things. It's like no. Do what you do. You know, you saw the area. Go in that area. Shoot the ball. You know. Then they scored and it was great. Everyone's cheering. You know, the entirety of Team Z advances because of it. Team V obviously advances. They were in no danger. And then the top score from each of the three losing teams advances. So we have a total of 25 people moving on, and it's great. It's fantastic. We have a little middle portion here where we see that Isagi is collecting rivals just left and right. He is the rival of so many people, and that's great. You know, that is a very stereotypical main character sports anime type thing where it's like everyone starts looking to him, like, ooh, what is he doing? You know, I need to beat him. And it's great. You know, that just kind of in a very easy way, it sets up future matches, you know, in future head-to-heads, right? Where it's like, ooh, we saw him face him before. Here's round two, you know. That is one of the best things about sports anime, is kind of coming up and be like, okay, you know, we've obviously seen how much our character has grown since they last faced off. We maybe have not seen how much the other character has grown, so we're gonna start seeing some surprises. You know, what is it? Steel sharpens steel, right? Is that the saying? So, and then we have the very end, which is the huge plot twist, I guess, in the whole Blue Lock setup, where it turns out Ego tricked them. He made them all think that they were the bottom of the barrel, that they were, there was 4 more sections ahead of them, and they were the bottom. They were not. Turns out they were all told that. They were all told that, hey, you're on, compound 5 or whatever, and there's 4 compounds ahead of you, and you are, was it WXY? No, what is it? VUW? What is it? I guess there's no team U. It's just VWXYZ, I guess. So everyone in Blue Lock was one of those 5 teams, where they believed that they were on VWXYZ, and there was people on Team A, Team B, Team C, Team D that were statistically better than them, and so they were trying to win in their own little compound to then move up and face the people that were on the higher teams. That's not the case, though. Ego told them all that so that they would want to claw up, and they it would generate some hunger within them, because he's talking about how, like, oh, all the best strikers come from nothing, and they have this hunger that makes them better, it drives them. And so he was trying to artificially put that in all of them. Turns out they're all sort of on the same level, obviously, give or take. I'm sure soon we're about to see some crazy new weapons and everything, but they were all told that they were the bottom of the barrel, when it turns out there was nothing above them. They were all, so it's genius. It's genius, really. And from here on out, they're all alone. Ego said something amazing, where he was like, if you got here by luck, with the help of your teammates, oof, you're in for a ride, because there ain't no teammates anymore. Which is interesting, because I don't know what the next, the whole second selection thing. There's 5 stages to it, I guess, and I don't really know what it is. I mean, I guess none of us do, But I'm very excited to see what it is. What these stages are. Are they not gonna play team games anymore? Are they? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm excited. Very excited for next episode. Again, this is another 2 core show, so we're not even halfway done with it. I can't wait to see what it is. You know, Let me know if you have any ideas on what you think. What you think they could be doing here, because I feel like they have to still do games. They can't just not do games anymore. But we'll see. We'll see. Next, we got Eminence and Shadow, episode 11. Um, we're still in a weird spot with this show, guys. um, Again, it's like the first third of this episode is just some weird like fanfic. I'm so confused. like I have a level of confusion that's so high that I feel like I missed something. So if anyone out there can explain it to me, can be like, "Oh, idiot, you missed when they said this or this happened." Please tell me. Throw it in the comments or something, because it's just like my whole gripe with last episode was it just felt like super fan servicey and like a super like departure from what what was last episode? What was the point of nothing happened last episode. What was the point of it? And then even with this episode, like the first third just continues it. And I'm like, is this what the show is now? Where nothing happens and there's just fan service again, I'm not against I'm never against, well, not never, but I'm not against fan service in general when that's what the show is. Eminence and Shadow for the first 9 episodes didn't give that. Didn't give that impression. I'm not saying there was no fan service at all, but it was a certain amount. And episode 10 just went crazy with it. Like it was all fan service. And then episode 11, like the first third, and then trickled in throughout even the last 2/3, just unnecessarily, so that's really why I'm confused. And then like the second second portion of episode 11, we sort of got some like real stuff happening where Sid gets called down, and so he decides to appear as Shadow to cause confusion, right? Because he was like, well, if I go down there and I expose myself, they'll all know who I am. Can't do that. If I run away, that could cause more problems, especially with like my school. Can't do that. So I'm just gonna cause a diversion, and then be Lord Shadow, and then we're about to get it, right? Aurora answers the call. She's apparently someone who at one point destroyed the world or something. So now we know what level Shadow is on. We know what his skill set is. He beats Aurora. He has a little offhand comment where he's disappointed that he wasn't able to face her at full power. So I don't really know what that means. Maybe like when ancient ones get summoned, they don't get summoned at their full strength. Maybe something like that. But that just goes to show the level of respect that Shadow and Aurora have for each other, which is super cool. Like the fight in general was cool, right? And that's pretty much the whole episode. The first third is just weird fan service, and then the last 2/3 is just like this battle, sort of cool. Nothing really to talk about here. Not a lot happened. We have the very end where we see that the sanctuary has now answered the call, which I think has been mentioned before, between Sid and Alpha. I think I've mentioned the sanctuary at one point or another. So again, I'm just really hoping we move on from this weird like episode and a half that's been happening here, because again, it's just like, did they just did they just have a story for the first 9 episodes, and after that they were just like, oof, we ordered 20 episodes, what are we gonna do now? I kind of started to get that feeling. So I hope next episode kind of reels it back in with the sanctuary, and it's like, okay, this is this whole other organization that we've heard of a couple times, and so I kind of like to delve deep into them. I hope that's what this is. I really do, because for the first 9 episodes, I was, I was in. I was like, okay, we're getting some cool, mysterious vibes. Shadow doing his thing. We have this whole, Garden of Shadows thing, which is cool. We have some history with other characters that are kind of being pulled in. People like Sherry. So, there was some really cool aspects to the show. And then episode 10 and some of episode 11 kind of destroyed it. So, I want this one to kind of get back on the horse. Let's go. Yeah. Again, 2 cores. I already said 20 episodes, so we're just over halfway. So there's still plenty of story to be told. Next, More Than a Merry Couple But Not Lovers, episode 10. I believe there's 12 episodes here, so got a couple left after this. A few really cool things happen in this episode. We have the moment where Jiro says she's my wife. So those two people that were being creeps. Just not cool. Like the whole scene, I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, what? Like, is that like, does that ever work? Where we just come up on a girl like that and you just like, you make her feel just super uncomfortable, and she's like, yeah, I'm into this. I'm into feeling super uncomfortable and being like ambushed. But this was a very nice moment, because the moment before that, he was super passive. Where she wanted him to kind of take a I was gonna say ownership, but I was like, that's a weird word. No one here is owned by another person. I'm kind of like, act more like they're together. And so in this moment, he's like, she's my wife, and she doesn't like what you're doing. And so I was like, okay, cool, man. And Akari loved that. She's like, oh yes, that's what I want. And with this thing where she's kind of mentioned it before, but she really goes off on him this episode, where she's like, stop apologizing for everything. Like, just stop. Every time you do something or say something regarding me, you always apologize afterwards. Like, stop doing that. And then we have Akari saying that she misses doing like married stuff. Like we're, when we're home, it's great, but then when we're not home, when we're anywhere else in school or here, at this beach, you just like, you just seem so distant all the time, and it's weird. Like, I don't like, stop. Like we're together, And he's like, oh, well, we're not doing this for for the practical, we're not getting points for this. And she's like, I don't care. I do not care. You keep bringing stuff up that I'm not even talking about, like I don't remember ever mentioning practical. But yeah, like, I love that too. 'Cause again, it just goes to show, again, it's just beating you over the head with it that Akari likes Jiro, but she just refuses to confess, I guess. She just refuses to do it, right? Because she is still super confused about her own feelings, and she's like she's a gal, right? So there are certain there's a certain perception, about gals and about their personality and stuff, but she's not that. She maybe on the outside, people see her as that, but on the inside, she is not any of those cliches. So she's maybe, she looks nervous. She's like, it's scary, especially in her scenario too, because Jiro isn't just someone that she's come to like. He's someone that, in her mind, 1000% does not like her like that. He likes Shiori very clearly after Shiori. So she's like, it's a very precarious thing that we've seen before in media, right? More represented by when there's two friends, and from a friend's perspective, like, they like their friend, want to be more than friends, but they're like, oh, if I don't know that they like me that way, and if they just want to be friends and I confess, it's gonna be weird. We're never gonna get back to it. And they're my friend, and so, like, we've talked about people that they like, and so it's like, we would do that, So again, like, it's kind of in a similar scenario here, where it's like, if he does like me, then great, but I know that he likes Shiori, So if I say something's gonna be weird, you know. But from our perspective, when we see Jiro, it's like, well, we know Jiro still likes Shiori. That's a fact. But we also see Jesus. I don't know what happened there. Gonna die. Okay. My eyes are watering. Okay. Forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So from Jiro's perspective, he likes Shiori, right? That's a fact. But there are also moments where he like super takes care of Akari. And again, you could say a lot of those are because he wants to be a good husband, right? Because it's the whole practical thing and, whatever. But there are genuine moments where it's like, it seems like he really cares about her. It does seem like he really likes her. Again, we're not quite in his head as much. Well, we are, but he's not saying the same things that Akari is saying. Like, Akari, it is 1000% that, she likes him. Jiro's the one for her. But with Jiro, every time he kind of gets on that train, he's like, but there's no way though. She likes again, they think similar things, but on Akari's side, it's like, oh, he likes Shiori, but I still really like him. On Jiro's side, it's like, oh, she likes Tenjin, so there's no way. There's no way that she likes me. I don't want to misinterpret what's happening here. He's like super dismissive of any of those feelings that he would have for her, where Akari is like, I can't escape the feelings, So, two sides of the same coin. And then they have a moment on the beach together, and the part that I really liked was Jiro being like, well, hold on a second. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it kind of feels like what you're telling me, like the things you want me to do or don't want me to do, or how you feel about certain things I do or don't do, it kind of feels like something a jealous girlfriend would say, and that causes Akari to blush, and she denies it. She's like, no, it's not what I mean. I'm just blah, blah, blah. But it's true though, because he's, it's like, I want you to call me by my first name. I don't like it when you talk with other girls. There's a couple other things too. And it's just like, that's something a girlfriend would say. A jealous girlfriend who's like, oh, you shouldn't talk to other girls like that. Why don't you call me by first name? So it's like, it's becoming more and more obvious. Again, Akari, it's definitely going to be Akari that slips and either just comes out and confesses to Jiro, or there's just like a moment that happens, and it's just like it's like an unspoken thing. We'll see though. Again, we have a couple more episodes after this. I forgot to mention Jiro also got heat stroke. So again, there's a nice little moment that happened at the end there, and we're like, ooh, is this happening? And then Jiro just got heat stroke. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, so a couple more episodes after this. Again, I have read the manga. I'm actually caught up in it. I caught up in it the other day, and so yeah, still going. No manga spoilers. I'm never gonna do that to you. But I forgot what the point of me saying that was. I don't remember. Again, the manga's so far ahead that I'm just like, I don't know what happens after this. I don't know what the last two episodes are gonna be. But again, me, more and more, me reading more and more manga, and then having certain manga be adapted into anime, you kind of start seeing the flow of things. And for me, I'm just like, they have to end it somewhere, like the season has to end, and I feel like you can't just end on an episode. Like, it has to end on like a moment, and I don't really know what that moment is. But we'll see. Number 7, we got Chainsaw Man, episode 10. I believe there's also 12 episodes in this one as well. So a couple more episodes after this. We're getting there, man. There's a lot of Chainsaw Man is crazy. So yeah, what do we got here? Oh yeah. I remember this episode. This one was nuts. So we have the introduction of the teacher, and as soon as he came on screen, I was like, Oh yeah, I remember this guy. So teacher, he, he's here to basically train Power and Denji to become the best that ever was, And so he basically introduces himself by breaking Denji and Power's necks and paralyzing them and then giving them blood to heal them. Kind of, there's a couple different reasons you could say that he did that. One, just to show off his power, his strength, and be like, hey, I am not no pushover. Like, we're doing this, and it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be far from easy. And two, to kind of say, you guys are devils, and well, they're not devils, but like they're devil adjacent. And so it's like blood heals you. So we are going to go crazy, because essentially he can do whatever he wants. Because like they're not gonna die. Like he even says like Denji's immortal, Power is near immortal. So it's like I, anything, Um, although he doesn't ever kill Power though because she's near immortal. If if he was actually to kill her, then she'd probably die, like for good. Denji, on the other hand, you can kill Denji, just give him blood, and he's up and at him, And so that's basically what the training is. It is just all day where they square off against each other, and it's just teacher killing them over and over again, just destroying them, just like not even close. Like they're not even getting a scratch. They're not even getting in the general vicinity of success. you know. Um and yeah, so he says I'm the best devil hunter ever, and it's like he might be. He's a monster. Cuz Denji and Power aren't like amazing, like they're good enough, but they've never really been properly trained. But still, it's still like Denji and Power who are fairly strong, like they're strong enough where just a regular devil hunter probably wouldn't be able to beat them together over and over and over and over again. So it's gonna be cool to see more, more of their training. And it really goes to show, Power and Denji are meant for each other. I'm not saying they deserve to be like together, like romantically or anything. I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't think it does. I'm not. Again, I've read the manga. I'm not trying to spoil it, but I don't really think they're like a romantic couple. They're more like brother and sister. you know, they're more like siblings who like bicker and they try to get up on each other. But at the end of the day, they do look out for each other. Um, and so they have this grand plan to work smarter, not harder. It's like, okay, we got this. We're not going to beat him physically. He just has too much experience on us. This is like what he does. So we have to create a scenario in which we have the advantage, and that's how we're going to win. It's like, all right, cool. Got it. Perfect. And then we cut. So ending that scene, I'm like, they're like walking on the road or whatever, and they're, at the end of that scene, I'm not over here thinking, oh, Denji and Power about to win, right? I'm not delusional. I'm not a delusional viewer. However, I am like, I got a little bit of hope, a little bit of hope where it's like, maybe this was the plan all along, where it's like, teach these guys to think and not just dive into everything, because it's maybe worked out sort of, but advance the skill sets, create new skill sets. That's how you can be a problem for these devils. So got a little bit of hope, a little bit. And then we cut to the next day or whatever at, Denji's place, or I guess technically it's Aki's place, right? Because Denji and Power both live with Aki. And we see Denji and Power, and they both have glasses on. And as soon as I see that, all the hope leaves my body. I'm just like, they think wearing glasses makes them smart. Or they think, oh, new lease on life. We're working smarter, so we're gonna wear glasses. I'm just like, guys, come on. You guys are just you guys are just two idiots. You know, like, oh my god. But I do get some hope after that because they do much better this time. They have this plan where Power is at the door. She's gonna throw a spear. Teacher dodges it like a I don't even know, like freaking Neo in the Matrix, right? And she then has blood underneath where she's like, or on top where she's like doing spears down, and I'm like, okay, we're kind of ambushing this man. This is better. This is better. And then Denji comes in off the balcony, coming in with the axe, and then he gets kicked really hard, and it like breaks his neck. Like, all right, cool. All right, so Denji, you're out, and then we cut to Power, and she's passed out because she used too much blood. And then you're like, okay, they didn't think this plan all the way through. They got like 80% of the way. 80% of the way. And then teacher turns around and throws a knife in Denji's forehead, and we're like, yeah, you guys better, but not great, not great. And then we have a nice little moment here where Denji's like, hey, Power, you know, teacher said that we can call it for the day, and Power's like, lucky us. He's just like, thank God. I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, man, I'm very excited for more of them. Again, no manga spoilers, but my memory's not all the way there anyway, so I imagine we see a lot more of this. I want to see more. I want to see teacher show off, but then also get Power and Denji to a level where it's like they're monsters. That'd be incredible to see. So I'm excited for that too. And then we end with Aki and some Himeno action. It turns out that Himeno's sister visited Aki with a letter, and it was basically Himeno talking about how she wants to quit public safety and she wants Aki to quit with her. They're like, oh, this job isn't safe. It's money, we're getting money, but at this point we should just go private and we can still have a job, but we don't have to risk our lives anymore. And a big portion to that was her mentioning Aki and being like, I want to bring Aki. Like, I'm down to go private, but I need to convince Aki to do it. And that you can tell that really hurts him because Himeno's dead. We understand she's dead. Again, I guess there's maybe a possibility that she comes back. I don't know. Again, she wasn't really killed. She was more so just like taken by the ghost devil. So maybe there's a chance for her to come back. I don't know. Probably not, because I don't think that's how contracts work. But who's to say? Anything could happen. Yeah, that does hurt him because Himeno, he was super close to her, and now he might be thinking, man, if I just took her up on it, maybe she'd still be alive. But again, it's also his own selfishness, because the whole reason he wants to do this is because there was devils, or a single devil, I don't remember, who killed his family. So that's kind of the whole reason why he does it, is because he wants to hunt them down. I don't remember, is it the gun devil or is it someone else? I don't quite remember. But yeah, that's the reason he does it. And so now he kind of just had, the only thing he can do at this point is kind of turn that into even more motivation to say, okay, why would I quit the devil who killed my family and the one who killed Himeno is still out there? Why would I quit now? That's stupid. And then we end on Aki walking up to another devil. We don't know what devil it is, but he's going to try to make a contract with the devil, who could be a lot. Again, we know that, Aki doesn't really have a lot to give. He apparently only has 2 years left to his life, and because of him keep using that sword. So I don't really know. First off, I don't know what devil it is. Second off, I don't know what he has to give, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, episode 10, great episode. Love it. You know, like I said, I'm excited to see more of Teacher with Denji and Power, and then I really want to see more of Aki and see what, you know, what deal he makes, what contract he makes. Also, just in general, Makima. You know, we didn't really see Makima at all this episode. I want to see more what she's up to. You know, always interested in that. So next, Do It Yourself, episode 11. Yeah, this was a great one. I think next episode is the last episode. So, this was a great one. You know, Purin joined the DIY club finally. I remember saying that, you know, early on in the season. I'm sure everyone guessed it, where it's like, yeah, like by the end of the season, she's gonna join the club. Like every episode, she gets closer and closer to doing it. So that was a nice moment there. Um, People from the shop, from like Waka Waka or whatever, whatever it's called, Waku Waku. They helped install the like those like foundation bits, right? Because those like, you know, DIY clothes supposed to do it all yourself. You know, you guys are very capable, but it's like for the foundation, you know, the super important parts that are gonna keep this place in the tree. We should maybe just have professionals do that. You know, just also for safety. You know, you know, because you know this isn't just like you guys building a you know, this isn't you guys building the bench, right? Where it's like, if the bench fails, you're gonna fall a couple feet. It'll probably hurt, but it'll be okay. If this fails, and the treehouse falls out of the tree, death is a possibility. You know, so maybe we just have some professionals install the super important bits that'll keep it in the tree, and then you guys build the other 95% of it. You know. But also, you know, it also works out too, because again, you know, those people are people that they've had help from before. You know, so it makes sense, you know. You know, so that was really cool, and they get the floor done. It's really, you know, that's a nice little checkpoint there where they get the floor done and they're all standing on it and they're like, okay, it's coming together. We still got a lot of work to do, but this is cool. This is cool. You know, we're up here. Then we have a quick lunch break, and I just had a weird note here where I'm like, their snacks where they put fruit in bread. There's like a fruit sandwich. That just seems really odd to me. I don't know that I would put fruit between bread and eat it. Is that like a Japanese thing? I mean, I just feel like I've never seen that before, you know? And of course, like anime is not anime is not one for one for what people in Japan actually do. But I've never seen that in anime before. And I haven't seen every anime. I'm not gonna pretend I have, but I've never seen that before. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's like a real thing that people do. I wonder if that's good, because I mean, thinking about it right now, I'm like, I don't know that I would. It just seems like I don't know that I would want to eat bread with fruit. I don't know. Then we have you know, another nice touching moment between Serafu and Purin, because Serafu kind of has this feeling where she's like, I'm excited, you know, I love it, you know, I was kind of the one, right? Because wasn't, you know, Serafu was the one who had the idea to want to build a treehouse, right? Or was it, might have been Purin who had the idea? Because I think, didn't this idea stem from Purin and Serafu having a treehouse at one point? I don't remember. You know, but she's like, I kind of don't want to finish it. You know, and you know, it's kind of a weird feeling, but when she breaks it down, you understand. You know, it's like you know, building it is so fun. I kind of, you know, because once it's done, and there's no more building it. You know, and you know that could be a very relatable moment. You know, because you know, a lot of times when you do stuff, you know, just in general, I mean, even like, you know, something as passive as like watching a TV show. You know, it's like, I kind of don't want to finish watching the show, because once I finish, there's no show left. And then it's over. And then I gotta be depressed because there's no more of my favorite show left, you know? You know, so they kind of have a similar feeling. The great thing though with, the great thing with DIY is like, you just move on to the next project, you know, kind of like the sponsor was saying, she was like, once we're done, we move on to another project. Like we're just always doing stuff, and that's kind of where you keep the fun. Um, and then at the end, we have a little scary moment where they don't have enough wood for the roof, and it's like, oh no, you know? Because the only thing they can do at that point is like, well, we could try to collect more wood, but like, where are we going to get it from? Like, we've kind of gone everywhere we could, so where are we going to get more wood from? But they have the impeccable idea to just steal wood from their clubhouse. And even the sponsors like, all right, but just take it from places that no one will really notice. Because we can't just rip up the club room. But that was very resourceful, very very resourceful, and so that's probably where the next episode is going to be. It's probably just gonna be them finishing up the secret house, the secret hideout. With the pieces on the roof. Gonna finish it, and it's gonna be great. Everyone. Hopefully it'll also end with people coming out and being like, "Whoa, secret hideout! You guys do this stuff here? Can I join?" you know. But yeah, again, very very nice show. Couple moments of conflict here. Remember, I said this was a conflictless anime. There's been a couple moments, but I'm glad to see where the show has gone and where it is and where it's gonna wrap up. Because again, next episode I think is very obvious, but it's still gonna be a nice moment. It's gonna be very fulfilling, I think. So next we got Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury, episode 11. Instead, we don't have it. This episode wasn't up for some reason. That has happened before with this show in particular, where sometimes this show just uploads late. Although I did see somewhere that this episode was going on break for a week because of something else, something else got in the way of it. So if that's the case, that's fine. That happens sometimes where episodes get pushed with anime. That is a thing that happens in anime every so often. If it's just because it just wasn't uploaded in time, that sucks. If that's the case and episode 11 and then episode 12 get uploaded by next week, I'll cover both. I'll do both of them. If it did just get pushed and now the whole timeline is shifted, then that's fine. We'll just cover episode 11, business as usual. So sad, because I really like the show. You guys know how much I like the show. But what are you going to do? And lastly, we got Bocchi the Rock. We are catching up. We got episodes 6 through 11. A lot of stuff happened here. Love the show. And I continue to love it. I love the first 5 episodes. I was hoping it didn't stagger from there, and it did not. It did not. So we'll just kind of go through it. Bocchi the Rock. Let's see. Bocchi told her mom not to invite her friends because she has her own friends. Yeah, she just got super defensive about everything. And it's like, no, Bocchi, just let her invite friends. You got to meet the quota. your whole stress that's coming from this is you're not meeting the quota. Just let her help you meet the quota. But in the end, it all kind of worked out for the better, I would say. And then Bocchi meets this drunk bass player. Her name ends up being revealed as Hiroi. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. Hiroi. And yeah, it's just kind of crazy, but then you peel back the drunkenness, and she actually has a lot of passion and a lot of skill. So that was really cool. We have a really sad moment where she says, "Drinking helped me forget everything," and I'm like, "Oh, that's you should see a therapist or something instead. Just kind of work on those feelings instead of pushing them down." This show got a little too real there for a second. And then we have a nice moment where they do an outdoor concert, and you see another side of Bocchi that you haven't seen before, and it is like an evolution, right? Because she doesn't really perform in front of all these people. She doesn't really know Hiroi either, so the comfort might not all the way be there. But she does it. She plays. We have a nice moment where one of the people in the audience kind of cheers her on because she kind of sensed that Bocchi's a little nervous, and it's just great, and it's a huge turning point for Bocchi, in tandem with something that Hiroi told her, where she's like, hey, I don't remember the quote exactly, but she basically tells Bocchi that like the crowd isn't your enemy, like they're like the crowd is not out to get you, you're not fighting against the crowd, you know what I mean, and through the outdoor concert that finally sticks with her, and she's like, oh, like at the end of the day, the crowd wants you to do well, they're not preying on your downfall, they're here to listen to some dope music, so they want everyone on stage to be dope, like they want you to be good. And so through this outdoor concert, it finally made her realize that, it makes her a little less nervous and, a little less, guarded in that area. And she earns 2 fans. She sold 2 tickets. She already has 2 from her parents, so we got these 2. We got 4 now. She gets 1 more. And it's another good moment, too, because those 2 people kind of become her fans, which is like, oh, wow. She has the whole Guitar Hero thing, but she's never really had real life fans before. So that's, and again, another boost to her confidence, something that she really needs. And then Hiroi buys the last ticket, trying to support her and all that. And then also hilariously, that's the last of her money. And so she needs Bocchi to give her money to ride the train, and she'll pay her back. But yeah, so she did it. She sold all of her tickets. There's another nice moment there where she texts, the rest of the band, and the rest of the band is like, she's lying, right? Like she didn't sell her tickets. No trust. But yeah, so all in all, that whole scenario was really cool. Again, it instilled a lot of confidence in Bocchi. She sold some tickets. She maybe gained a couple fans, and she kind of has this, a little clearer of a picture of what performing is, which is great. It's perfect. And then we have just a fun episode where she invites a couple of the bandmates. Rio can't be there, unfortunately, for whatever reason, but Kita and Nijika are there in her home to kind of work on shirt designs, I guess, and it kind of devolves in a lot of ways, right? Like you can just see how nervous and also how inexperienced Bocchi is when it comes to inviting other people to her home, because there's like a huge banner outside of the home that's like inviting the Kesuku band to her place, and she invites them with like little like popper things, like the party things, with like confetti, and she's all like dressed up in some weird attire, and then her room has like lights going and like balloons and stuff. And it's just like, and like, Kita and Nijika kind of understand, right? Because, that is one thing I like as the show goes on, is that her bandmates understand who she is now. Episode 1, episode 2, stuff is kind of weird, but they know who Bocchi is. We know what scenarios she puts herself in. So at this point, they're just kind of like, they kind of know. They're like, okay, she kind of did this. She clearly doesn't have other people over. She doesn't really know what to do. I'm sure she wanted this to be the best experience ever, because she didn't want to like let us down and, be boring, so, that's cute. And then, we have Futari and Jimihen, which is the sister and the dog, come in, and they kind of box her out for a second, or at least that's what Bocchi thinks. It's like, oh no, my friends like my sister and my dog more than me. Which again, it's so insecure, because it's like, no, like they love you. Like what do you mean? But yeah, and then she like bribes her sister to be like, if you leave right now, I'll allow you to have an ice pop. Just like, Bocchi, come on, you gotta be more, just a little bit more confident in the relationship that you formed with these bandmates versus the 5 seconds that your sister has been with them. Come on. Then we have the whole clothing arc of this episode where Rio sends in her designs and they're just pictures of food. It's like, no, this is not what we need. Classic Rio. And then Bocchi's design is sort of practical but very ugly. And then we get into the whole part where Bocchi um, mistakenly tells them that she has a lot of other clothes other than the like sweatsuit that she wears. She has a lot of other clothes that her mom picks out, but they're not really her style. And then they immediately are like, "Well, we need you to wear all of them because we want to see you wearing them. Stuff other than the like tracksuit that she wears." And they love it, right? She's like, basically like, "You're gonna wear all these from now on. You're not wearing a tracksuit anymore." It's funny. And then they like want to do her hair, and with her full face exposed, she can't handle it. She turns to ash, and then the ash infects the room, and it turns them into her. So they're all like depressed. It's like, oh no, they're all acting like Bocchi. Um, but yeah, no, again, even from that very comedic scenario, we do get some realness there because it's like, the friends are encouraging. They're like, hey, you can wear other clothes, like, you can wear other stuff, like it's nice. We again, them all, whether intentionally or not, trying to push Bocchi out of her comfort zone for the better. Trying to give her confidence, trying to be like, hey, you can do this. Even if it is something as small as wearing other clothes, oh, it's not really my style. It's like, well, it can be your style though. Like you can try it. You don't have to just wear the tracksuit. Um, try to like be safe and be like, it's like it's your cocoon. It's like, no, like we love you. Like you can do other stuff. Um, it's just another aspect of the show that I really enjoy. Um, what else do we have? And then we have the concert, right, where Nijika makes the shirts. They're all kind of basic, but they're uniform, so it works. And we have the concert. The typhoon comes in after all, but people still do show up, which I like. They do still have a little bit of a crowd. It turns out that a lot of the crowd is for other bands, not them, but they have people to perform to. And this goes to show Bocchi's impact on people. Her two fans show up, and Hiroi shows up. So, parents couldn't show up because they had to watch the dog and the kid or whatever, but her people showed up, so that's cool, right? And so we're here, we're getting it, we're going. Um, and we have the performance, right? This is kind of the main meat of these 6 episodes or whatever. And I really like the flow of their performance because it just does a really good job of storytelling. Because we have the typhoon lives in the most some uncertainty. Then we have most of the other people in the room aren't there for them, so they're kind of on their phones. They're like, I don't even know who these are, who the whole like Kesuku band is, like who care, whatever, blah blah, and it starts sowing some doubt in them. So their first song, they're all over the place, right? Like they're not in sync, they're not given the passion they usually do. This person's behind. This person is making mistakes. I'm not playing the way I usually do, and it's just like, and then everyone's on their phone, and it's just like and like even their fans, like Bocchi's fans, the two people are kind of like trying to be in it, but you can tell they're sort of like confused because they're like, she's not playing like she did at the park or at the street or whatever. Like, what's going on, And then even the sister, Seika, she's in the back and she has this face of just like, they're not doing well. They're not doing well, And she's, it hurts because it's like she knows how good they can be. And then they end their first song and they're all like super like trepidatious. And then, even the one person in the crowd, very rude, but even says like, oh yeah, I told you, we should have showed up later, just, in time for the bands we actually want to see, basically. And like, okay, and then, Nijika being who she is, she's like, oh, Kita, you gotta introduce the next song, come on, trying to kind of do it, almost kind of on the verge of being like, all right, let's just get through the 2 songs, I guess. We're not doing that well. It sucks, and let's just do it. Let's just meet the quota. And Bocchi, the legend Bocchi, leads them off on the next song. She just goes nuts. She does this crazy guitar solo, playing with crazy passion, and gets everyone's attention. The crowd, the fans, Saika, even Kita, Ryo, and Nijika are just like, whoa. She's going nuts for like 30 seconds. And then that leads right into their next song, and they play, and that kind of shakes them out of their weird stupor that they were in. They're all playing to their fullest, and they're going crazy. The song's going crazy. uh, you know, Bocchi is still doing her thing. Like, it seems like she's doing extra than what the song usually calls for. And the whole crowd, like, no one in the crowd's looking at their phone anymore. They're all just in awe of just like, wait, hold on. Oh, wait, hold on a second. what, why? Is this the same band that was just playing? And you see the fans in the front, the 2 fans, they're excited. They're going nuts. Seika in the back is smiling now. She's like, yeah, they got it now. And they finish off, and everyone starts clapping. It's like, yes, they did it. It's like, again, they're just in a weird funk. You know what I mean? They've never performed as a band before. The last time they performed was just the 3 of them, and they were kind of not great. So they never performed with Kita before in front of a band. The Typhoon kind of has a blow to their confidence. 90% of the people in the crowd were not for them, and the crowd itself was not very large. And so it was hurt. It hurt. But then this Bocchi kind of brought them all together and was like, hey, get together. We're dope. Doesn't matter what anyone else says. We've been practicing way too hard for this. We're not going to sit up here and kind of just like, go through the motions, be a shell of who we really are, Oh, so good. Best moment of the whole 6 episodes was just when Bocchi just, stepped on the pedal and just started going nuts with the guitar. Oof. You kidding me? Tell me this ain't the greatest show ever made? And after that, Nijika figured out that Bocchi was Guitar Hero. I don't think she told the other 2 band members, but she figured it out, right? And that was a nice moment. No secrets. Not that her being Guitar Hero was like a bad secret, just like, it was nice for her to notice. And them kind of, coming out to each other more about like what their dreams are and everything. What they want out of this band and all that. Even Nijika being like, you're the one. You always seem to be the one that kind of brings us together. So we're all counting on you. Not in a sense of like all the pressure's on you, Bocchi. Like if you mess up, then we're not going to be successful. Like, no, it's more just like comforting, and more just putting it on her that you are kind of our anchor, and you should think more highly of yourself. Like, you are an important part of this band. Which I love, band members supporting each other. It's great. And then we have, probably like the second to last big portion of these episodes, where Bocchi is super down. Summer's almost over, and they have not hung out with any of the other band members. The band as a whole has not hung out, and it's really bringing her down. It's really bringing her down, because she never really does anything anyway. But she intentionally left her schedule clear for like the whole summer, wanting, hoping that they were going to invite her to do something all together. Oh, as a band, we're a band, we're friends. I don't have any other friends, let's do it. And it turns out that no one invited her, all for their own reasons. I mean, it seemed like, Nijika's always busy. It seems like she's working, and working on the club and whatever, her school activities. Kita always seems to be out. Again, she's very outgoing, so she has a lot of friends, and she's always out doing stuff. And also, when she's with her friends, it's like, well, I wouldn't invite Bocchi because they're new people. And then Ryo gives the lamest excuse, but she's just like, oh, I thought you two would have done it. It's just like, all right, so we have this whole thing where they're like, wow, you guys are bad friends. you know, so they kind of scramble. And they're like, hey, Bochi, you want to do something today? Tomorrow, you want to do something? Let's do something. Let's all do it. And she's still kind of in this weird funk, but they do like, oh, we should have invited her. We're such idiots. Of course, Bochi. Like, we know Bochi. Okay, hold on, everyone. I have to do something. I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, so yeah, and when they've finally invite them all because again, it's like we know Bochi, right? But um, I don't know. Everyone just kind of got caught up in their own thing, which happens, right? But they weren't just cognizantly aware that Bochi doesn't really have other friends, and so it makes sense that she would want to do stuff. Um, and so they go through it. They go to this whole thing, right? The beach didn't really work for them, which is really funny. Um, and yeah, beach didn't really work for them. They wanted to go to like the shrine or whatever. Kita's super into it. Everyone else, not into it at all. And yeah, she's not super into it at all. Yeah, because everyone else is just like, oh, we gotta climb the stairs. There's like 40,000 stairs. I'm not climbing all these stairs. No one wants to do that. I'm not doing that. But Kita just with her overwhelming like crazy, her like Kita aura, kind of overwhelms everyone, and they're like, all right, yeah, I guess we have to. They're dying. They're dying. They find an escalator. Everything works out. Kita's upset because she's like, they're not in the spirit of this. Um, but it's what they do. Um, and at the end of the day, they do have a nice time hanging out with everyone. They this is what Bochi wanted, right? She wanted to make some plans, have some memories. The first summer ever where she really had friends, and she wanted to do something with them. It was great. It was awesome. This is something that she wants to remember for a long time. Wants to have pictures. Wants to, because we saw before where like when they took that picture together, the like faux pro or pro faux or whatever, whatever they call it. She had like a million of them. It was like it was her wallpaper. So it's what Bochi wants. It's something that they've come to understand from her personality. So it was cool though. It was a nice little time there. And then the kind of ending to all of this is um, them going to the culture festival, right? Them really wanting to perform there, but Bochi being kind of trepidatious about it, and then Kita submitting the application and being like, "Oh, I got you," And now it's like now they have this big performance where guaranteed there's gonna be probably hundreds of people maybe in the crowd because it's gonna be everyone performing. It's gonna be everything. It's for the whole school, right? Um, And so now we have this whole little mini arc here where they're training, they're practicing, and they also get some confidence from Hiroi as well because Hiroi's in a band who performs, and so it's like, okay, cool. We can kind of, we can kind of go there and watch her band and kind of see everything, and you know, we can. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to do it. Kind of see how other stuff works, right? Um, and yeah, so they do that. Hiroi's band is dope. Hiroi's band is super cool, and I feel like just watching them, they learn a lot. Um, yeah. So that's super fun. And then Kita does admit that she did it on purpose, right? Because in the beginning it was like, oh, I saw it was in the trash and I put it in, so it was cool. And now she kind of admits that she knew that Bocchi threw it out, but she just selfishly really wanted to perform there, and she apologizes. But Bocchi's like, no, don't apologize. You did the right thing. I'm actually glad you did it. You gave me that push because I also really want to perform there as well. um, so it all works out. Like I said, they're all individuals, but I do feel like they are all on the same page when it comes to them just wanting the band to be the best, and they do want to perform. Like they're all super into being in a band, you know. So at the end of the day, it all works out. And yeah, so we have some fun little moments here at the festival. Bocchi runs away because she doesn't want to be in the maid uniform, and then she checks her phone and she sees that people are starting to forget about Guitar Hero, and so she's like, "Oh no, I have to upload, I have to upload a video there so people stop, don't keep forgetting." I think the natural progression of this is gonna be Bocchi shedding the Guitar Hero baggage, by being Bocchi in Kesuku and getting real life fans. I think at the very least she might come out and be herself and kind of announce, kind of merge the two. I don't think that the show can really go on and her character go on and grow and evolve if she continues to have Guitar Hero on the side. I think she has to get rid of it, again, probably by just merging them and, putting in videos like that, maybe putting up videos, merging them into just a like Kesuku online thing. So we'll see about that. And then we also have the other thing at the Culture Festival, which is a nice little moment where Bocchi, not the best maid at the cafe. Turns out Kita way better, which makes sense. I mean, I don't feel like that's something that we were like, whoa. It's like, yeah, I mean, with Kita's personality and her aura, like, yeah, of course she'll be better. And even Nijika and Rio, better. But, it is what it is, right? And then the episode ends right when they're about to perform. This was a cliffhanger that I was actually really upset about. Because they were getting into it. They were on stage. People were excited. People were cheering for Kita. We have a slight moment where Bocchi's like, yeah, no one's cheering for me, though. And then the two fans are there at the festival. We got Hiroi and Seika is there. We got her family is there. It's like, no, or classmates, Bocchi's classmates are there. It's like, no, people are here for you too, And then right as they're going to start, the episode ends and it's like, oh. Now I think next episode is the last episode, so that's a nice way to end it, is right on their Culture Festival performance. We'll have to talk about this more with every show when each respective season ends, but I'm already going to say it here. I hope there's another season of this, because this is a fantastic show, and it's getting really good reviews too. Like people in general are really liking this, so I hope it earns a second season. But yeah, they're about to perform, so that'll be next episode, and I know it's gonna be fantastic. Like they're gonna kill it. They're gonna kill it. But yeah, that's the show this week. Not another Isekai. A ton of shows this time. Unfortunately, we did have to skip the Mercury show, but hopefully we will come back next week with at least one episode. If they double up, that's even better. And yeah, a lot of these shows are ending next week. At least a few, and then a few more ending the week after. And yeah, so like I said, keep watching these shows. Please let me know if there are any shows in particular that you 1000% are going to be watching, so I can watch them too for next season. I don't really know if I'm gonna do like a special episode on talking about next season. Probably not. I don't know. Probably not. I mean, yeah, because we'll just talk about it within the actual show itself. So, but yeah, like I said, so please, definitely go through next season, what's upcoming, and have a little mental list or a physical list of what shows you're doing. Because again, if you weren't here for the beginning of the season, basically how it works is that I'm going to just throw everything at a wall I'm just gonna watch basically anything that I have interest in. So that could be like 20 shows, um, and then just kind of slowly shed them. Try to watch the first episode or two, or even three, and then by that time, I'm sure 20 shows will turn into probably like 10. Like I have it here. But yes, I just don't want to miss anything, so I try to watch basically any show that I have some interest in, and then also anything that y'all recommend too, because if there's shows that somehow aren't on the starting list that I should be watching, I will add them. More than happy to do that. But yeah, so that's next season. We're really close to it, so I'm very excited. And but we have this season still ending out this season, ending out strong. There's a lot of really good shows this season, and yeah, that is that. Guess that's it. Yeah, until next time, watch more anime.